All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Not Another Whiskey Podcast. It's myself and Nicholas here. Well, I kind of say myself and Nicholas. It's really myself that did this next piece because, sorry, Nicholas, you're stuck in New Jersey.
Yeah, I know, mate. But see, to be fair, that's why about 80% of our listeners will turn off in the next 10 seconds because I am no longer a part of this episode. Just kidding. This actually was really jealous of this one because you're right up at John O'Groats here for Eight Doors Distillery. Cracking little spot. Beautiful, beautiful distillery, the most northern distillery on mainland Scotland.
Yeah, it
What
was
was it
so cool to
like?
go and see. And, I've been to some new distilleries, but this may have been one of the newest. They've only been open for around about 6 months. So, yeah, like you said, I was doing the NC 500. They invited me up. I popped into the amazing distillery they have up there, and this is what they had to say. When I started this kind of idea of doing this trip, and by the way, if you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. But before I did it, I got this message from the guys at Eight Doors, in particular Ryan, who said, why don't I come up here and do an episode? So I thought, fantastic, I can incorporate that into this trip. And now I'm here. I'm in John O'Groats, sitting in the Eight Doors Distillery, which is the most northerly distillery in the mainland of Scotland, with the guys from Eight Doors. Ryan, Kerry, and Del, thank you very much for having me at the distillery, and welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let me start, if I can start with Del and Kerry here. Let's chat. If you guys can tee up, you guys are the owners here. How did this whole idea come around with regards to what you're doing?
So I blame Dale basically for the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm only joking. It was his idea, and it's something that we talked about for many years, and thought, what a great idea, build a distillery. But to be honest, I really thought it was pie in the sky. I didn't think that would become a reality. And probably some of the first conversations we had would be back as far as maybe 2012. Then life gets in the way, jobs, all sorts of things, and we didn't really think about it too much more. And then we started thinking about it again, probably around 2018, I think it was, and we had a few more discussions. Then we actually went on holiday to Isle of Horus, and when we were there, we were visited a couple of distilleries and came away totally inspired by the whole thing. And we were on a wild, deserted beach and had a conversation and basically said, let's do it. Let's give this a shot, and that's where it started from.
And before that, did you guys drink whiskey together? I take it you're both big whiskey fans.
Yeah, so I'd been a whiskey enthusiast for 10 years, and then we got introduced to whiskey at a family barbecue, and the first whiskey we had was a grouse and ginger beer, and we both loved it, and ever since then I started collecting bottles. We visited a few distilleries, and then Kerry was working for a corporate job for BT in London, so she was doing a lot of commuting at the time. We thought, is this something that we want to do for the rest of our lives? We like living up in this area. We want to create employment in this area. There's not much opportunities for young people, and we thought, well, we like whiskey, we like living up here, we like making things. Let's combine the three things together, and this is where the distillery was born from.
Beautiful. And Del, what was it you were doing before this?
So I'm an accountant to trade.
Okay.
So I'm the boring type one.
You're the numbers guy?
Numbers guy, yeah.
Need a numbers guy?
Really boring. Kerry's the creative one. But I quite like data.
Okay.
I quite like the numbers behind it.
Yeah.
I like the forecasting element of the business. So I think it's a long project for us. So that forward-looking forecasting is something I really enjoy. Really geeky, but really enjoy it.
And it's stunning. So the only time I've ever been to John O'Groats, I'll put my hands up here, is catching the ferry over to Orkney. So this is the first time kind of coming here properly. And I've literally driven into the town, and the first thing I've seen is your distillery, and just come straight in here. And it's stunning what you guys have done. I mean, you have a coffee shop, an amazing tasting room that we're sitting in right now. So talk me through the whole build process of this and how long it took you guys. It started in lockdown, is that right, when you kind of broke ground?
Yeah, that's right. So we had came up with the idea. We launched the brand and our project back in October 2020, but because of the COVID pandemic, we didn't really start breaking ground until the January in 2021. So we did the distillery build and commissioning for about 18 months, 20 months, until September 22 was when we actually managed to start distilling our first whiskey.
So let's get on to distilling here. We're gonna bring Ryan in here. So Ryan Sutherland is distillery manager here. You're a local boy as well, right, Ryan? You're the reason I'm here right now. So thank you very much for bringing me up. But let's chat about you. Kind of same as me, Wayne Grant and Sons sort of background, right? And then it all came up here.
Yeah, although I left, I think, a year after you.
Yeah.
So no, it's I enjoyed my time at Wayne Grant and Sons. You know, it's a good company to work for, and I had a really good team there. I was in the project engineering team on the bottling side, so it was one of these decisions where, you know, COVID, everyone's kind of reflecting on where they are in life, and I just thought, me and my partner had a conversation. It's like, do we want to be in the Central Belt? We're trying to get kind of more a firm place in the Central Belt at the moment. We're between jobs. I was travelling to Bells Hill every day. She was travelling to Dundee every day. So I thought, right, we'll put you know, the feelers out there and just see, can we move home? So at the time, I was made aware that new distillery in John O'Groats. Got in touch with initially Derek. So we started speaking over email, just kind of asking where they were. Are they looking for someone to run this project for them? So threw my hat in the ring.
Nice.
A couple of more emails later, a chat, which I think was meant to last an hour, lasted about 4 hours, I think, if I remember right.
And was that the first time you guys met each other?
Yeah,
okay.
we just at the time we just thought, right, we'll just meet each other face to face. Kind of difficult at the time with the pandemic, but we managed it. And I think I sat on one side of the room and you sat on the other. But we had a good chat. I wanted to bring to the table, I could, you know, bring the engineering background that I have, but I also wanted to move into like a more management role. So becoming a distillery manager is a major tick in the box for me, especially with my hobby. You know, I'm very passionate about this. So
beautiful, man. Well, we've got a lot of geeks that listen to this podcast, you know that. So they're going to want some stats on what you guys have. Take us through the elevator pitch, if you like, of production at 8 Doors.
So micro distillery, may as well just call it a micro distillery. Yeah. We are small, 400 kilo mash. So you put that into perspective, we're some way smaller than other distilleries, but you know, small but perfectly formed. We try and aim for a relatively high gravity. We aim for about a 6970 OG. That allows us to basically fill a hogshead every time we distill. So the key to the distillery is washbacks. We've got 5 washbacks at the moment. We're running 4 at the moment, so we're getting 4 hogsheads a week through our distillations. Wash still 1700 litres, so washback 1700 litres, wash still 1700 litres filling. On average, we try and get about 72% out of the stills at the end. So we have a cut, first cut 74%, we run that down to 64%, quite a long spirit distillation. We aim for a minimum of 3 hours. Typically it's 3.5, so really long. We're just nice and slow, lots of reflux. We've got traditional stills, we've got no fancy like boiling balls or anything in our stills, so we just run them nice and slow. There's no rush here. And ideally, I hope when I go and nose my spirit, I'm getting this really nice stone fruit character. I was saying that today, we had a cask filling customer, and if I'm not getting stone fruit or white fruits like peach, apricot, I'm in trouble.
Okay. So. And you guys have poured me some of your new make here, which I'm giving a nose to. So, how did that look? Like when you started off, was this a conversation that all 3 of you had? Like, this is the kind of spirit that we want. This is the sort of end goal, I suppose.
Yeah. When I first we had the initial conversation of what I kind of thought we should be doing, we all kind of agreed it's a fruity character. You know, we are aiming for that. We have a longer fermentation, so it's 96 hours average. We do 2 shorts and 3 longs. So that the 2 shorts are kind of quite similar to a wheat beer character, kind of spicy, maybe a slight citrus edge to it. Longer ferments go a lot more sour, kind of danky, kind of fruit character, which for me is good because the bacteria is doing something, it's offering a lot more flavour. So our long ferments kind of punch in this really strong stone fruit character. I try and say plum initially, a bit of water, you start getting these peaches and apricot coming through.
Yeah. And then maturation-wise, let's chat about that. You guys took me into your warehouse, which I was like, is this it? Where's the rest of it? But then I forget that you guys have only just been. Is it a year yet?
No, so we've just passed 6 months from our first build.
So as we record this, it's 6 months worth of production that you guys have at the moment. Cask-wise, what are you guys using right now?
Yeah, so at the moment we're doing everything from 50 litres up to 500 litres. So we've got 50 litre octaves, 130 litre quart casks, 250 litre hogsheads, and 500 litre in terms of sherry, so 500 litre butts. Everything from American all the way through to European oak, so American, Spanish, European. We've also got Spanish brandy, which is very interesting. I'm really enjoying that so far, where that's going. And we've also got your classic first fill bourbons.
So Kerry and Dell, let's chat about this amazing tasting room you guys have got here. What are you offering for people when they come into the distillery?
For us, it was really important to have a nice space to relax, and we call it a whisky lounge because when people come to John O'Groats, quite often they've travelled a long way. They might have had a big challenge, walking, cycling, or they might just be local people coming a wee run on a weekend. So we wanted a space that's inviting, cosy, relaxing. We've got a beautiful fire there. Quite often, which might be hard to believe, it's not amazing weather in John O'Groats.
It is today.
Well, it is today, actually. Yeah, it's looking beautiful today, but sometimes it rains and sometimes it's windy. So we've got a fire which is really inviting, and people love to sit and have a dram, have a cocktail, have a coffee, whatever they want, and just enjoy the space. We're really lucky to have the spot that we do. It's got a beautiful view out to the Pentland Firth. We've got huge windows, so the windows are basically like a movie screen for us. That it's always changing, the view's always different, and people seem to really enjoy that. We're used to it because we live locally and we love that view, but it's great seeing it through other people's eyes.
It is absolutely stunning sitting here. I mean, if I was you guys, I wouldn't get any work done. I'd just be staring out that window the whole time. So let's chat about when you guys started up. I mean, you mentioned it earlier with regards to community here. There's obviously, it's a very sort of small population. We are so far north right now. Yeah. So let's chat about when you guys started up the distillery. How did you look at that, and what did you do to really encourage that?
Yeah, so one thing we're really proud of is the fact that 90% of the distillery build here was built by Caithness tradesmen, which we're really proud of, and they've done a fantastic job. And also the local support that we've had. We did our cask launch, and we did our 250 casks that we sold within 40 hours, and I would say about 50% of them was local people, and we've had a great reception locally. I could be in the local Tesco's, I could be in the local chip shop, and people always ask me, how's the distillery going? I haven't made it out yet, or I've come out to the distillery, your coffee's really nice, it's such a cool place to come and chill out. And that's what we wanted to create when it was a place for local people to come and enjoy a coffee and a whiskey as well. And
I think what I would add to that is that, we love where we live. Yeah. And I think sometimes some of these remote parts of Scotland get a bit of a hard rep. People just pass through them to go to Orkney, or they whiz around the NC500 to get to the west coast. But there's so much to do and see up here. And if we can be a small part of keeping people here a bit longer, or thinking about coming to this area and spending an extra night here, there's a positive impact on other local businesses, and we can showcase what we love about the place.
Fantastic, I love that. And I saw quite a few people working here as well. How many people do you employ at the distillery?
So we have now got 7 people. So across the sort of front of house, where we've got we call it our brand home, I guess. Small compared to some others, but we've got the shop, the sort of cafe element. We've just started doing tours as well, which is really exciting for us. We've just recruited a tour guide, so that's brilliant. And then on the distilling side, we've got Ryan and Andy who supports him as well. So it's a great bunch. We're really blessed to have a real local team, and we just love it.
So let's go back to that. You just started tours. So what does the tour look like when people come up here?
So they get to come into the tasting room. So they've got this beautiful view across the Pentland Firth. We tell them a little bit about our story, where we've come from, and a bit about our journey so far. We then get a wander around the distillery. As you've seen, it's all in one room. We're very compact.
I love that.
But I always say it's a bit like being an air hostess. We have mashing here, fermentation here, and just turn around. So we see that, go into the warehouse, have a look at that, and then come back, enjoy the view again with a few drams, taste our new make and our recently launched liqueur product.
You guys have kindly poured me out all the drams that you currently do on the tour, so let's chat about them. We've done the new make. Do you pour the new make as well, or is that?
Yes,
yeah, cool. Okay.
People are really interested in trying it, and it's really good to see. From our perspective, it's great customer feedback, getting that response and seeing what people enjoy. And we've had a great response so far, so that's been really encouraging for us.
One of the things we haven't mentioned is your name. Let's talk about where did the name come from.
So yeah, we're called 8 Doors Distillery, and that's all linked into rooted in John Groats and the history behind John Groats, which takes its name from a Dutch man called Jan de Groot, and he had 7 sons. So the legend goes that they were starting to argue about chieftainship, who's going to be head of the clan, or I think after the father's day. So the father said, I'm not going to have this, all my sons are not going to fall out. I'm not sure what happened to the daughters, they don't seem to get a mention, but...
Or the mum.
Or the mum, yeah, we don't know what happened to her either.
Unfortunately, that always seems to be the way in history, right? So,
it does, but now the solution to the argument between the sons was to build an 8-sided house with 8 doors going into it, and then they all sat at 8 sides around the table. So nobody was head of the table, and they're all equal. But we just love that ethos because for us, whiskey's about getting around the table with friends and family. It's an occasion drink. It's creating memories, and I think that's something. You're building a story, whether it's with one friend or lots of friends around. So that's where the 8 doors came from.
very cool. And then you've related the whiskies that you're letting everyone taste, which obviously you don't have anything legally right now. So I love this. You've done Seven Sons whiskey, which is a blend of what you think everything's going to taste like after a certain amount of years. Can you talk us through these ones?
Yeah, so our Seven Sons range is a nod to what our whiskey could taste like. So they're all sherry focused. Whiskey's an occasion drink, and that's why we've got the kind of 3 ranges. So we've got the blend, we've got single malts, and then we've got our whiskey liqueur. And I can think of lots of times when I've had great occasions drinking all 3 drinks, and that's why we're keen to basically have these 3 products as part of our range. And so they're all sherry focused. So our Seven Sons blend is 6% grain, 40% single malts. All the single malts in there are first fill sherry casks. We're a sherry focused business at the moment, so a little bit of bourbon mixed in there too. Mm-hmm. We've developed this with John Ramsay, and we think it's a flexible drink. We use it in all our cocktails in the whiskey in the lounge. And then we've got a 10-year-old from Altmore Distillery, first fill sherry casks. Then we've got Glenturret, an 8-year-old peated whiskey. And then we've got, to finish off, is our 5 ways whiskey liqueur, which we've developed in-house, and that's Kerry's recipe.
Very cool. And all these are available online, I saw as well. And some of them are sold out, though. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. So the 10-year-old single malt has been really popular.
Okay.
Full sherry maturation. It's a complete sort of sherry bomb, that one. It's all gone, I'm afraid. We've got a little bit left for tasting. So if you want to sample it, you'll have to come and do a tour with us. You can get a wee dram then.
Sample it like I'm just doing right now.
Yeah.
And these are all 46 there, thereabouts? Yeah, okay. So not cast strength, but unchill filtered, I'm assuming?
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's chat about your blended liqueur that you're doing. How did that come about?
It's just another option. You know, we're going to get a lot of people that come to John Groats, and they might not like whiskey, or they might think they don't like whiskey. So it's just a great chance for us to maybe introduce whiskey to a new audience. And that's why we've got a range of cocktails available in the lounge as well. One of my favourite things is somebody coming in who says, no, whiskey's not for me, I can't drink it. And we encourage them to try a cocktail or try the liqueur, and then they go away with a bottle and they're like, oh wow, I love whiskey now. It's amazing. Yeah. But I think sometimes people maybe had an experience in the past where someone's put something under their nose that's, not for them. And then you can actually then start to talk about whiskey in a different way and tell people how to explore it, and it's great to see people go on that journey.
I love this. A load of ginger in this.
Yeah, so the liqueur, we really enjoy that. So it's more of a after dinner drink. We're having a lot of fun trying to create a cocktail with that one as well. So it's got orange, ginger, spice, and whiskey, of course. So you get a bit of heat from it. It's sweet, but it's not too claggy, I guess, as we would say.
Yeah.
So it's not coating your tongue in too thick syrupy, but it's got a sweetness, and then the ginger comes through and the whiskey comes through. So yeah, it's a really nice after dinner drink, that one.
One of the things that always interests me, and this might be a question for you, Ryan, but with a new distillery coming up, you guys don't have any handcuffs, right? I mean, you would have had the handcuffs, not that they're that bad at William Grant & Sons, but still being a big company, you have to adhere to certain ways of working. When you're distilling here, is there certain things you've been experimenting with over the last 6 months, or are there any plans that you can talk about?
So when we were commissioning the plant, it was quite important for us to kind of get our yeast right, get our mashing right. There's all these aspects you want to bring together to get the final product. So we're quite happy where we are right now, and it was mainly working with John Ramsay. John's helped us a lot on this project, and he's came in, his wood knowledge is fantastic, and it was really good. We were standing at the spirit safe and going through the cuts, and making sure that we're really happy with what was coming through. So we actually started off with 3 yeasts initially that we thought would be good for essentially the 874 recipe, I like to call it. It feeds into all our casks, it feeds into all our inaugural bottles, and it'll feed into some of our own products too in the future too. But I would like to just maybe look at something else in the future. So something that's really interesting that's happening in John O'Groats. We've got the old mill, which is only half a mile down the road. They've just received a lot of funding, so £4 million, and we'd love to use that in the future to basically create John O'Groats grain. So up here we've got a lot of oats, so an oat whisky would be something that's really interesting for me. We've also had discussions on other yeasts that we may think might suit a different recipe or profile we want to produce in the distillery. We're so small, we can do a lot of things here. We've also got the equipment, so we've got the mash conversion vessel that allows us to boil up things if we need to, you know. There's a lot of flexibility. Geeky side of me is just firing on all cylinders because, yeah, I want to see what we can do through our equipment.
You're like a kid that's got a new present that hasn't actually seen what it can do properly yet, right?
Yeah.
Ryan's got like a big wall chart with all my ideas on it, and so it's just like one of those things with the little bits of string going from one to another all over the place.
So it's all you, Kerry, that's what you're saying. Ryan's just the guy that pushes buttons here. Just to wrap up here, guys, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting here. And I wish we had this on video, because the view that I've got, the three of you are here, and I'm just looking over your shoulders to your still house, and then to my left, this stunning view here. So if people want to visit you, tell us about how they can get in contact, social media, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Just check out our website. It's just 8doorsdistillery.com. We're on all social platforms as well. Just please get in touch. We'd love to see you up here and show you what we've got to offer at 8 Doors.
Beautiful. Well, guys, thank you again for having us. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks so much for coming up to see us. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
Thanks very much. Cheers.